Alright, GPAers, all sizes, shapes, and genders. When I lit up my arc lantern, I had a couple people ask me, well, where'd you get that torch? I made it. And they expressed interest in that. So I'm going to do a quick tutorial here in case you're still burning your fingers off using a big lighter to try to get your torch lit stuff going. This is pretty simple. You get a piece of fabric. I'm using fiberglass cloth, but you could probably use just about any fabric, and I'll explain why later, and a piece of flexible wire. You thread the wire through your fabric. You're just catching it about every inch, every 3/4 of an inch, something like that. Bring it down. Then you make a loop in your wire. Alright? Trim the ends off, I don't know, 6 inches, something like that. You hook the wire over a nail or something in your workbench. Take your drill, put both wires in the drill, catch them, and you twist the wire. Now you can see what it's doing to the fabric. It's doing a tight wrap. As the wire twists, the fabric's getting caught in there. So, you got a piece of wire that's heavily wrapped with fabric. You can trim off all your little fuzzies. You don't want a lot of fuzzies, and I'll show you why a little later in this. So just trim it back. Now, this is so simple and so cheap to make. You could probably do 2 or 3 tries until you get it just the way you want it. Since the torch should really go on either side of the generator, you want to bend your wire into a sort of a U shape. Take your needle nose pliers, bend your wire that way, then bring it around, bend the wire back on both sides. So at this point you got a kind of a Mickey Mouse M. Then you take the humps of the M and you close them up. Alright, so they're good and tight. The wires cross at the bottom. You give it a twist or two. Trim off the excess. And depending on what you're going to use for a handle, you know, you can get as artsy-fartsy as you want on this. Get a wooden dowel, drill a hole in it, all that. I'm just using a piece of copper tube because I had it laying around. I already wrapped it with tape in case I'm holding it in there too long and starts to get hot. You insert your torch in there, if you're using copper tube, and just crimp it flat to hold it. Pretty simple. Dip it in your spirits. Now always remember, use alcohol, don't use gas or anything like that. Now you see all these fuzzies on there? When I light this, all of those are going to be on fire. You get a really big... That's why you want to kind of keep your fuzzies trimmed back, because you don't want this to be totally out of control. And then it just goes around your generator like that, and you got a torch. Also, alcohol, you can extinguish it really easily. Gas, you're going to be beating yourself to death, setting the living room on fire. So again, I'm advising, trim off as many of these fuzzies as you can, because you don't need, you don't need a bonfire on a stick. If you're using cotton fabric, I'm guessing the errant fuzzies will just burn off naturally, but fiberglass won't do that. So, all right, let me try it again, see how that looks. And I'll just kind of put that off to the side, so if you get excited and knock it over, you don't burst into flames. Yeah, that's a little better, all right. So that's your torch. That's all there is to it. Easy peasy. All right, have a good evening, folks. Bye.